Hi and welcome! Every plan should be part of something bigger. Planning the day ahead or even the week ahead without it connecting to something bigger is merely surviving and reacting to whatever is screaming the loudest. We want to live more proactive days and more easily remember our priorities, or we'll be swallowed by daily urgencies and put out fires day after day. Not to mention doing busy work. But you know all that, so let's get started. We're gonna work very visually, and I recommend the use of paper for a bunch of reasons. It's tangible. We create a different bond to it because it involves other senses like touch and smell and sound, and also spatial memory. Another aspect is that you think twice before using your pen or pencil just because Ctrl-Z isn't there yet. But that's good because it makes you more present and focused, less prone to distractions working in a tech-free tool. Another favorite of mine, once you're done, you can just make that vertical. Stick it in a wall, there's less risk of going under a pile. And you know, it's easier for the brain to understand that once you sit down with pen and paper, that this is official. An official strategizing session to get you closer to where you want to be. Oh, Bianca, but I have a remote team and I want to share this with them. I should just go digital. Here's what I think. Do this exercise on paper first as your first contact with this method, then you transfer it to digital afterwards, okay? The fact that you're here tells me that the way you have been doing things isn't working. So give this method a chance. We're not gonna look at our goals just yet. Before you plant a vegetable garden, you need to know the soil first. Its particularities, characteristics, traits, what's already happening there. So, to do that, ask yourself, what's already in place for you and your business? Remember, already in place. We're gonna make these events evident. I want you to include personal things such as trips, time with family, your birthday, significant people's birthdays. Because although you are a natural person and a business, you're still one individual that shares the same 24 hours with your business self. There's no way one life won't influence the other. So this is how I indicate these events on the calendar. We're gonna be using a big calendar. This is how I like to view it. When I look at a conventional calendar with separated months, I always get the false impression that I have more time than I actually do. So I want to avoid this. You can still see the months over here, and these lines, they represent the quarters, but we're going to talk about that later. Have your current calendar with you for reference and a separate piece of paper. Okay, what we're going to be doing here is start writing out the big dates that are already in place for the next 12 months. Okay, make this fun. Start writing down the dates that are special for you. Your birthday, significant people's birthdays, business anniversary, big holidays and time off, trips, work-related or personal, and anything like that that's already in place. It's quite normal that as you put these dates down, they'll work like triggers that'll make you think of to-dos. For now, just take note of them and move on. This is why you have the separate piece of paper. It's for these to-dos related to something you put down. For example, I wrote down business anniversary here. Maybe that makes me think, okay, I want to do something fun with my team on that week. I want to plan out something. So I'm just gonna take that piece of paper and write it down what I want to do, or at least the idea that popped in my head. Remember to put down anything that's important to you. Consider everything. Things like days when significant people are going to be in town, weddings, baby showers, reunions, if you have their dates. If you don't, put an approximation. You can put down live performances, conferences, events, fairs, things related to your industry or networking opportunities, your spouse or kid vacation time, sports seasons if you're really into it, any personal projects like, oh, I have a competition for my hobby over January, things like elections, tax season should be there as well. Things that are team related, like planned vacations for teammates, professional development, any workshops, courses, certifications that you're taking, seasonal business peaks, the time where there is naturally more influx of leads. Client related deadlines, if you have already set, like deliverables that have a date already set, you can put it here. Product launches that are already set, things that are already set, not things you're trying to plan for. If there are things you're trying to plan for, use your side note. And if I'm not sure of the exact date, but I know the season, this event happens every November or every August, maybe the dates haven't been announced yet, mark it in the first week of that month, like tentative X, Y, and Z event. If things overlap, you could use another color just to make it more visually distinctive, but this is optional. Now I have a bird's eye view of the times of the year expected to be busy. It represents visually which quarters have more volume. Remember to keep taking notes in that separate piece of paper, all the things that aren't planned out yet, they're just to-dos yet to be organized, big or small. Now let's take a closer look at your list. We're going to refer to the items here as projects. A project is anything that takes more than one sitting and can last from as little as a couple weeks up to 12 months tops. If you see that anything in your list is probably gonna take more than a year, you are right. We tend to be far too optimistic about how little time things need. So I want you to be very honest. Say that you're very confident that you can find 30 clients this year. You can ask yourself, okay, what's the amount of clients I comfortably see myself getting? Maybe the answer is different. So adjust that project considering that. Remember, this list can have both personal and work-related projects as well. If you want extra help uncovering these dormant projects, wear these 5 hats. What projects come to mind when I wear each hat? Vision direction, admin, sales, production. Write freely what comes to mind while wearing those hats. If you want to dive further, look up the 17 hats for a list of usual roles in a small business. It's normal that by the end of this list you may feel a little overwhelmed. But don't worry, we're going to do an exercise to help you with prioritization. Don't forget your personal life projects. I want you to try these questions to see if they uncover some dormant projects. What's your biggest source of worry lately? What health problem do you want rid of? What issue in your home you can't take anymore? Which processes in your routine could be improved? So, let's talk about priority. Priority means what comes first. It doesn't mean it's the only thing you'll do. In other words, out of everything you plan to accomplish, your priority is the one thing you guarantee will happen. You're going to be choosing 2 projects to be your priority of the year, one personal and one work related. I'm going to give you the best practice to make this choice. Look at your list of projects, be it this one that we wrote on a separate piece of paper, or something that you had on the calendar, okay? Look at everything and ask yourself, which project, if given time and attention, will not only bring direct benefits, but also indirectly improve other areas of my life? Basically, you're looking for the project with the biggest ripple effect. This is the best technique I know on how to be strategic about your focus. Okay, if you can't decide between 2 things, here's a tiebreaker exercise. Imagine these 2 scenarios. In the first scenario, Project A thrives. You achieve 100% success. You're incredibly happy. Meanwhile, Project B stays completely stagnant, as if frozen in time. Pause and notice how this scenario feels. Now, for the second scenario, reverse things. Project B now thrives. You achieved 100% success. You're incredibly happy. Meanwhile, Project A doesn't move forward at all. Again, pause and observe how this scenario feels. Now, you compare the feelings. Which scenario feels less bad? Which outcome feels easier to accept? The project that thrived in the scenario that was less painful should take priority. With your priorities at hand, we're going to start planning their execution. Finally. But instead of choosing arbitrary deadlines, we're going to assign them quarters. We're going to transfer every project here to a quarter and break them down into milestones if needed. I recommend you write in pencil now, because things might move around. Okay, you must start with your priorities. Remember, priorities are what come first. In my case, I have a work-related goal. I want to study my base method and positive psychology. And as a personal goal, I have closet renovation here. So, the closet renovation, I want it done somewhere in Q2, so somewhere in here. I don't have to worry about which month, that's not the idea. The idea is just to choose the quarter. So I'm just gonna write it down here. Closet renovation. Okay, if I want this happening on Q2, where do I need to be at the end of Q1? In this case, I need to have the project done by the architect so I can send it to the carpenter. Now my other priority, I need to study my base method. This one has a deadline involved. My access to it goes until October, so Q4. I'm just gonna milestone my study plan like this. I've looked at all the modules in the curriculum I need to go through, and here's how I divided it. Fundamentals 1 and 2. And then by the end of Q2, I want to have 3, 4, and 5, 7, 8. And then for Q4, I'll just leave the extras. Okay, good. The other part here, this positive psychology, it's a book and it has 277 pages. It's very technical, so I want to take it very slowly and stretch it out evenly. I'm gonna read until page 70. Q2 until page 140, until page 210, until page 277. All right, now that the priorities have taken their seats, you can just go top to bottom on your list. Okay, so business anniversary fun day. Mine is in July, so Q3. I don't need to milestone it out because it'll probably just take a couple weeks of planning. That's good. Volunteering to 3 NGOs. I'll put this one by the end of the year, so Q4, and I absolutely need to break it down. So, research and interview, Q2, same thing. And then Q3 and Q4 is when the service is going to actually happen. Okay, know all 24 character strengths. Okay, this is a lot of material to go through and I really want to take my time to study them deeply. It's a very simple breakdown process, 6 per quarter. If a quarter is looking busy already with things, I might just adjust this number actually. I'll make it only 4 character strengths in this first quarter and adjust accordingly. Very good. Read 9 books. In all honesty, I think I can read 2 books per quarter. That looks comfortable to me, so that makes me want to adjust the end goal to be 8 total instead. Scope adjustments definitely should happen in your year planning because this is what makes it more self-compassionate. Voice therapy. This is more of a nice to have than a must have for me right now, I think. If you find a situation like this, put it on hold and come back to it at the end. Product or service collab. This is an interesting one because I don't know what it will be yet. I just know I want it. I want to develop a product or service with someone. So I want to collab with someone and launch this thing together. So because I still don't know what it is, for Q1 I'm just going to keep it at manifest the ideas and the people. If you're into manifestation, this is the putting your end results dream out into the universe. Okay, so by Q2, I want to be developing the idea and propose it to someone. Q3, I will probably be developing. And by the end of Q4, I'd like to be launching this collab. Ooh, I'm excited already. Okay, finances coaching. I definitely want to do this one after taxes. So it would be Q2. I'll just say start. On Q3, I'll probably still be finishing this coaching. All right. Revive English profile. English, this is my IG profile. This is my vaguest goal. Revive English IG profile. What do I mean by this? If you have something there that is non-specific, ask yourself, how can I get this to be tangible, measurable? We need a definition of done anyone can understand. Okay, what I see is that by Q4, I'd be making daily use of the stories. So if I want that by Q4, on Q3, I want to be experimenting with stories spontaneously without the schedule. Q2, I see myself creating pain point videos. Can you relate videos? And in Q1, I see myself getting a video testimonial. Okay, and then finally, interview for people. This is for Instagram, for another channel of mine. I'm just gonna break it down. One interviewee, one interview, one interview, one interview. Okay. Now, going back to the project I left on hold, generally, if a project feels like a maybe, you might as well just round it down to a no. That's my recommendation. You want to increase your chances of success, so less is more. Put it somewhere safe though, so you can refer back to it in the future when you're ready. Now, take a bird's eye look at your whole year ahead. Is there a really full quarter? Maybe we can pull back or push something forward to another quarter that'll be calmer. Honestly, because I'm looking at the volume of things, the interview project is starting to feel like a maybe now. I just have this feeling that it's gonna be something that'll weigh me too much, that'll weigh on my shoulders a little too much on top of everything that's already there. So with a great deal of pain, I'll just take it out of my yearly plan. But knowing that I'll put somewhere safe that I can refer to in the future when I'm ready. It's really important that we feel comfortable with our plan, not feel like, oh, I think I can do this if I just squeeze in and work really hard, and if I just, force myself, it'll happen. I know it'll happen. That's just not the best feeling. So I want you to strive for feeling comfortable, what you can see yourself comfortably achieving without having to stress over it. And don't stay too long in the feeling of, oh, I had to remove it or I had to delete something. Don't stay in that feeling of losing something. It's more about what gets to stay. You see, what stays is really, really important. Those are the lenses through which we should be looking at this. Okay, we have a tendency to overpopulate Q1 or whatever next quarter you have ahead of you. So I want you to pay extra attention at what you have planned and what's going on the very next quarter you got in your life. Ask yourself, if I had to, what would I remove from Q1? Looking here, I have lots and lots of work going on, trip and weekend trainings. Then I look at what I got planned. I can tell right away that I want to eliminate this one from Q1, 2 books. Yeah, I think that's it. So I can either adjust the next ones, like 3 books here, 3 books there. You know, sometimes they're small, that won't weigh down necessarily my quarter. Or you can simply adjust the end goal. Instead of 8 books, I could have 7 or 6, should I say. That's the idea. Just adjust it so you can feel it really is comfortable. You can do that to every quarter. What's happening, look at every single event that's in there, and then evaluate the planned items. What is your gut reaction? Does it feel okay? Is there something jumping out at you? Follow that intuition. Also consider this question. What can I automate, simplify, or delegate? For example, an idea here I could simplify. I have these books, right, that I want to read. I could subscribe to a service such as Shortform that summarizes books, and really I could get the essence of a book reading just a few pages. So that could be something. Maybe I'll just say here in parentheses short form and choose, maybe there's a book that the writer's writing style is not that exciting. I can just go on short form and read through there instead. So that's simplifying. Automating something like this, where is it? Okay, the reels making, I can definitely get the help of ChatGPT to help me automate some of these scripts. And then delegating, I don't think there's anything here I could like totally delegate to someone. Maybe this part here of researching and the interviewing process of the NGOs. Perhaps I don't have to do this. Perhaps if I create a criteria, I could get someone to research, and then once they shortlist some candidates, you know, the interviewing process could also be delegated. That's something I have not thought of before. I'm just gonna add in parentheses here a reminder, delegate ? And see how it flows. All right, I really like working with quarter deadlines rather than arbitrary dates, because we're gonna leave the operational, more granular planning to monthly. Every month, we're gonna assess where we need to be at the end of the quarter and where we need to be at the end of the current month. Every month, this is gonna repeat, and that's where we get granular, the what you're doing specifically about these projects. I'll teach you how to do the monthly planning with a checklist. So, have your Google Calendar in front of you or other calendar that you currently use. Look at the month ahead. Familiarize yourself with scheduled events like appointments, meetings, all-day reminders, and ask yourself, do I need to cancel or postpone something? Or maybe add some missing information, like adding location or a meeting link. Take your time to do that. Now, consider any other needs for scheduling that maybe you haven't thought of, like self-care, errands, content creation, trips, days off. Whatever you might have forgotten to schedule. Now, look at your quarter planning on paper, considering where you want to be at the end of the current quarter. Where do you need to be by the end of this month? And the answer is going to be your priorities of the month. So here, for the month of January, considering where I want to be by the end of this quarter, where do I need to be by the end of January? So the first item here, I have the closet design project. I gotta brief the architect. All right, the base method study. I'll just say half of module 1 on my base method. The book, I'm just gonna read 15 pages. And then, oh yeah, the delegation. Consider delegation of NGO project. 4 character strengths. Wow, this month is pretty busy, so I'm just gonna look at 1 character strength. All right. Manifest ideas for the collab. Okay. I'm gonna daydream collab on a Google Doc. Okay, video testimonial. Shortlist potential clients. All right. You can also think of other things to add in here, not necessarily related to the planning you have here, but something related to what's in the calendar. For example, I know this is my seasonal peak, like I work a lot this month. Maybe I want to set as a priority of the month of January some self-care so I don't overwork and burn out, like get a massage or take daily walks. Just an example. Or maybe something here, I have family trip on the weekends. That's something that maybe I want to prioritize something about, like maybe buy board games for fam. All right. If you're doing this monthly planning at the turn of a quarter, so for example, I am planning for March, I should not only look at the current quarter's priorities, but I also take a peek at the next one to see if something needs to happen in March to support the next quarter's goals. All right? Ask yourself, is this looking feasible? Any adjustments needed? Again, automate, simplify, or delegate. Once you're done adjusting, keep this visible at your desk, on the wall, or digitally as a recurring weekly reminder on your calendar. That could be a good one. And lastly, you're gonna put a recurring event or a recurring reminder every month called Do Monthly Planning. And you'll do this again to follow through with your yearly planning as close as possible. Whew. This is it. In my coaching practice, we go really deep in the operations, in the operational side of the everyday life of a self-employed individual. We set up a personal organization system that will act as your second brain. And this is key here, because once your mind is unloaded, you're free to be creative and problem solve, which is the ideal world. We'll explore prioritization, habits, distractions, routine design, procrastination, and whatever else might be in your way. Because you're not just a business owner, you are a whole human being. I hope this video helped you plan the year ahead with more clarity and intention. Let me know your thoughts, I'd love to hear them. I'll see you around.